A quick note before we start this tutorial. You're going to need one background photo and at least 3 other photos that you're going to cut elements out of in order to make your actual creature. The ones that I'll be using are these ones. So one background photo and 3 other photos is the minimum. You can always do more. Hello and welcome to Friesen Art. Today we will be making a photo collage in the style of Dr. Frankenstein, where he put together different body parts to make his monster. We're going to do the same thing by creating a creature, but we can go further, we can go different. You can see this is an example. We've got a Bugs Bunny head, we've got a game cabinet for the body, we've got a couple of boots for the feet, and forks for the hands. So make it as weird as you possibly can. Here's another one. This has actually all of the things that we want in this project. We've got a background photo to place the creature somewhere, and then we've got 1, 2, 3 different elements that make it up. So you can have 3 elements or more. You can always put more. So this one, in this case, we've got a lion head, we've got eagle's wings, and then we've got this kid who's actually dressed up in a frog costume for the body, crouching down. So this is great. 3 elements and a background. Now, a note on getting photos. When you're looking for photos, you've got the list here when you search up images, but you don't want to take your pictures from there because you'll actually get a small thumbnail size picture. You always want to click on the smaller image to make it bigger, and then see if this is in the thousands or the high hundreds, then that's a good photo, and you can just click and just drag that to your desktop if you want. And so yeah, make sure you get something that's pretty good quality. Now, the photo editor we're going to use. You can use Pixlr. Pixlr is the default, but you could use Photoshop. You could use apps on a tablet like Fresco or Procreate. Any of those apps, free or paid for, are great. This is the default, so if you don't know what to use, this is a free photo editor and art tool online that's web-based and is free for everyone. So Pixlr E, that's what we want to have. And then you're going to see this. What you're going to start with is your background photo. For mine, it's actually from Stockholm, Sweden. And so this one looks great. This is what's going to be my background here. And so I'm just going to make this fit a little bit better. Awesome. Okay. So when I drag my photo in, you can see it opens my page and it makes the photo that I dragged in there first, it makes that the background layer, which is perfect. And it's locked, which is perfectly fine with me. So we're going to layer up everything on top of this. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my next piece. So for the body, I'm going to use the Arc de Triomphe. And you can see this one says, do you want to create a new image with this, or do you want to add it to the current one? We want to add it to the current, because we're gonna put all this in the same picture. Now you can see I've got the picture of the Arc de Triomphe, fits in here nicely. I can resize it. It's in this box, this transformation box, so I can move it around, I can flip it, I can do whatever I want. Right now it is getting kind of complicated. You can see all these buildings, it's kind of tough to see where the image ends. So in this case right now, I'm actually going to right click on my background, and it's visible right now, and I'm going to change it to hidden. There we go. So now it's a little bit easier to see what I'm doing with my image right here. Perfect. So now there's a couple ways you can kind of cut this out to get the Arc de Triomphe by itself. I want to get rid of the background and I would just want the actual structure. Number 1, the most obvious way is to grab an eraser and just start erasing. Okay, so that's one way you could do it, and that works okay. And you just adjust your brush size up here to be bigger or smaller to get into different areas. And I would suggest taking the softness off so it cuts a nice clean edge on there. Now, however, this one, our picture has pretty much the same color as the background. It's all this sky blue, except for the bottom. And so we can get rid of this using this special little tool right here, the magic wand. So if I click on the magic wand, if I click on the blue area, it's going to grab everything that it sees that's the same blue, and it selects it. And so you can see it cuts right around my arc. And so now if I just hit delete, it will get rid of that. So I can keep clicking on the blue, and it will get rid of the blue for me. Now, it doesn't do a perfect job. You can see there's some places where it's missed up here, over there, but that's okay. I'm going to clean those up in the end. So there we go. I've got everything I can easily delete using the magic wand done. So how do we clean this up? How do we get rid of this stuff? How do we get rid of this bottom area? Because it's not going to work. You can see if I click on this, it's not going to get everything. It's just going to get little pieces and bits, and that's not what I want. I want to cut out everything that I want. So I'm going to click on the lasso here, and I'm going to go to the poly lasso right there. This is what allows me to get around some of those pieces that didn't get picked up. And if your background is not one color, you use this for pretty much everything. So I'm going to get rid of this. As you can see, every time I click, it puts down a little anchor point. And then when I get back to the end, that's what makes it a lasso. I actually go all the way around the thing that I don't want, and then I hit delete. So it works really nicely, especially for straight pieces. So right now, I actually want to cut some of the bottom off of the art because I don't want all this stuff. I don't want these people. I don't want the ground. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down here using this line tool, and I'm going to try and make it as parallel to the bottom as I can. Perfect. And then now I'll click around. I want to lasso all of this, end up where I started, and now I can hit delete. Perfect. And finally, there's one little thing that I want to take care of in the middle. I didn't get this piece right here. So once again, I'm going to line it up, get my lasso, click around that. And so I'm going a little bit faster than I usually do. I would usually take a little bit more time to do this. But for the sake of the video, we're going to make it quick. Okay, great. So I can still clean up in here. There's a few little pieces, but that's okay. We're going to leave those for now. If we click this back on, make it visible, look at that. It sits right on top. It looks really big because it's the face of this structure is kind of looking off and to the left, and we look really small compared to it. So it's nice. I like how it's facing right now. Now that that's cut out, I'm gonna make that invisible again. I'm gonna go over here. This arrow says arrange, and this helps us to move it, and also we can make it bigger, smaller once it's in that box again. So if you ever want to change the size or move your elements around, that's going to be using the arrange button. Okay, the next thing I want is I'm going to put a head on this, and I thought add to cart once again. I wanted to make the head really strange. I tried to pick really random things, and so I've got a crumpled up plastic bag here. And once again, the background is all the same color. So I'm gonna grab that lasso. Whoa! Now look at this. See how it grabbed onto here? I'm still on the background layer, and even though I can't see it, it's sensing where the buildings are. So that's not what I want to do, right? So anytime we make a mistake, you're gonna hold down Command or Control on Windows, and then just tap Z, and that will just go back one step. So you always have to make sure you're clicking on the right layer, and then it will grab onto what you want. Now you can see the red grabbed on really nicely with most of the red. Where the shadow is, it's the same red, but there's a shadow on it, so it didn't quite register as the same color in that instance. And that's okay. I'm just going to keep clicking around here and grabbing all these pieces. And this is looking pretty good. I'm going to click in here. And there. Boom. Okay, so that looks pretty good right now. So the bag is actually going to be the head part. And so I'm going to move this over. And because the building looks like it's looking off to the left, I'm going to flip this bag because I think it'll fit and look better if this is the head and it's sitting right on top like that. I actually want it flipped. So all I have to do is I click on it, so the transformation box is there. Then I can hit flip horizontal, and now it's looking the other way. Now that looks good. So if I put these things together, there's the head, there's the body. I think that's looking real nice so far. Onto the legs. The next element is those legs. I picked just a set of feminine legs that I found on there. I searched legs, and this is one of the things that came up. Now this image looked like a PNG that was already cut out, but it is in fact not. You can see there's still a checkerboard pattern just like my pattern back here. So I'm gonna, once again, I'll try the magic wand. I'm not sure if it'll work on this properly. I'm gonna have to click on those legs. There we go. Oh, and it does. Look at that. That looks pretty good actually. So I'm gonna click, get rid of this, And I'll get rid of that. Okay, that looks fantastic. And you know, while I'm looking at this now, I don't think I want to put the legs here. I want to separate them so that they're on either side here. So what I'll do is I'm going to grab the lasso, I'm going to keep it on the poly lasso, and now that I've cut it out, I can just go around it because there's nothing in that space, and I will just get this part from the bottom of the calf to the foot. And instead of deleting it this time, this is what I want to keep. This is the great thing about the lasso, is that now instead of deleting, I'm actually going to copy, so Command or Control and then hit C, copy, and then Command or Control and then hitting V to paste. And what that does is it takes that piece and puts it on a new layer. So now I can get rid of the original, and over here you can see I've just got the leg. So that's perfect. I'm going to use the rotate feature and I'm going to shrink it down a little bit, and I'm going to fit it onto the arc, and it doesn't look like it's small enough quite yet. There we go. I think that looks great right there. Fantastic. And I'm going to want 2 of those. So I think what I'll do is I'll just go Command V again because I copied it. Now I'll paste it again, and I'll shrink this down, and I will I'll actually flip this one too. Flip, and do a bit of a rotation. There we go. I like the way that looks. Okay, awesome. I don't even know if I'm gonna go with arms. I think this looks good as is, but I do want a face. So what I'll do, I just want to see it with everybody. Look at that. That looks pretty good. I'm gonna have to move it, but that looks nice for right now. Okay. So the final thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add on some eyes. What I found was a jaguar here, and the eyes. You can see the eyes are looking off to the right a little bit, and I want them to the left. So you guessed it, I'm going to flip this thing, bam. And now I do just want the eyes. So what I'll do is I'll make kind of a mask shape with my lasso. So I'm going to make it almost like a superhero mask. I'm just going to go around it, keeping some of the fur, all of the eyes, and go around. Beautiful furry face. There we go. So I collected that. I think that looks pretty good. Let's just see how that looks. So again, I want to go copy and paste. I've got that piece. I'm gonna go, oh, and see, right now you can tell, oh no, the eyes are actually behind where I want them to be. So this is where I'm gonna look at my layers. My layers, if I want the eyes to be on top of everything, which I do, then I actually, over here in the layer pane, I click and I drag this and I just slide that to the top. And now the picture is actually at the top as well. So that's perfect. That's the way you can reorder. You can reorder at any time, any of the layers that you've got put down. And I think I'm gonna get rid of that one. I'm just gonna hit delete. Now that looks pretty good. That looks pretty good to me. I feel as though I cut more around this eye and I left a little bit more on this side. So I'm gonna go in and I'm going to take just a little bit more from this one, just to balance it out, because it does look a little strange to me. And at any point you can always go back and just start with the original too. If you do make a bigger mistake, you can be like, okay, well, I'll scrap this, and then you can go and get more. So there we go. And I want to make sure I'm on the wrong layer right now. I don't want to delete the background. I want to go for the eyes. Okay, there we go. Okay, perfect. Now I think that I've cut it. It looks good. I do just want to shrink them a little bit. And I also want to change the tilt. There we go. Yeah, that looks great. Okay, so now when I zoom out, it looks like that. So very strange character, but that's what I'm going for. So let's turn on the background and finish this thing up. With the background, I'm going to keep it locked because I don't want to move it around. But what I want to do is I want to move this character over to this side, because right now it's crushing a few people and it doesn't look great. So what I'm going to do is here's another trick. If you want to move everything all at once, you can click on one, hold down shift, and click on every layer that you want moved, and make sure you're on the arrange tool. and then you can drag the whole thing all at once, just like that. And there we go. I think this looks like a good position right here. So that's all you really need to do. Here's just an extra little thing for you if you want to make it fit in even better. You can see there's a bunch of shadows on the ground where these people are walking, and my character exists in this world now. So I'm gonna do a little work here. So I'm gonna grab the paintbrush. Actually, first I'm gonna grab the eyedropper to grab the right color of shadow, just like that. And then now I'm gonna grab the brush and I'm gonna put a shadow underneath my character to make it fit into the composition a bit better. There we go, and starting at the heel and going up, and maybe not quite touching this guy. There we go, just a little bit more believable now. Still looks ridiculous, but it fits in a little bit better. Awesome. So this is looking good. If I want to submit this, if I want to say I'm done, this looks great, you can go to File, and you can go to Export as a PNG, or you can go to Save, whatever you'd like. And I would love it if you had a JPEG or a PNG. Either one is fine, and save it as pretty high quality. So that's great. So you can save as, and then it will ask you to save it. There we go, and it's saved. Perfect. So now that's on my desktop, I can go over to assignments and submit that. All right, good luck with your creatures as you go forth and create.